Hey everyone, it's Epic Underworlds. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you or giving you a little guide on how to make your own solitaire RPG. So I am the designer of Solo Sagas RPG. It's a rather fun, simple solitaire game. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys would like to check it out, maybe get some inspiration for your guys' games. I also recommend other games like 4 Against Darkness or Micro RPG. So let's get right into how to create a game. Just one tip starting off, I recommend keeping your solitaire game simple because you're going to be the one playing it and it's hard to remember all the rules, so try to keep it as simple as possible. Then you're going to want to choose your dice system. Do you want to use all d6s? Do you want to use 1d6? Do you want to use like 10d6? Or do you want to use d20s, maybe all d20s? Or maybe you just want to use like the whole set of dice. So it's really up to you as to what you want to do. Then you're going to want to choose a genre. For genres, you got sci-fi, fantasy, high fantasy, you got horror, mystery, and stuff like that. So really try to pick out a unique one, or just try to make it as unique as possible. Or if you just want to go with the classic fantasy, that is really cool, of course, because a lot of people do like fantasy. But try to be as unique as possible. So, as far as a system goes, do you want your RPG to be more narrative? Like, do you want there to be less rules and just more imagination? Or do you want it to be really dice crunchy and all rules in your dungeon crawl? So try to pick a system there. And then once you have an idea of a system and a genre, you're going to create your character sheet. I recommend creating your character sheet first. You can always make new renditions of it, but the character sheet can then spawn off ideas and really help you. So first, you're going to want to have a name box, of course, for your character. Then you're going to want to have a class and race blob, a race box. And of course, you can call these different things. So class and race. And classes and races can give your character different buffs. Like maybe it gives you plus 10 HP or plus 5 starting coin or something. So then going into coin, you're going to want a coin or gold piece slot. So your character can spend money on their starting loot and stuff. Or if you want to instead make your starting class or race have pre-generated loot, you can also do that. But it is always fun to customize your character and choose their own weapons and stuff. So then you're going to want your life force, your HP, or your health box. It's really up to you what you want to call it. I'll just call it health. And that's how many hits your character can take before they're dead. So once you have all that, you're probably going to want to have a few other boxes. So let's just draw 4 more boxes here. So let's do some basic stats like strength, maybe dexterity, intelligence, and then maybe charisma. So these are just some basic stats, and you guys can of course change them. Strength, maybe whenever you're using a weapon, you roll a d20 plus your strength modifier. If it's above the monster's armor class, maybe then you could do damage. Or maybe you roll some dice. Depending on how good your weapon is. Like, let's say your weapon is like a 3 attack dice weapon. You would roll these, add your strength modifier, and if it's above the monster's armor class, then you can do damage. Or, of course, you could, like, maybe roll 3 d20s and stuff like that. So it's really up to you what you want your combat system to be. Then maybe dexterity is whenever the monsters attack you and you want to dodge it, maybe you have to roll a d20 plus your dexterity and see if you can dodge it. And then or you could also use that for ranged weapons. Intelligence is like detecting traps, talking to charisma is more talking to NPCs, but those are just some basic stats you guys can use. Then for determining who goes first in combat, you're probably going to want to have a initiative bonus. So whenever you rolled for initiative, you roll this number plus your initiative bonus, and then the monster does the same. Then whoever gets it can go first, or you can do like speed or something like that. Then you're going to want to have a weapons box, a spell box maybe if your game wants spells, but of course you don't have to add magic if you don't want to. My solitaire dungeon crawl does not add magic. It mainly adds potions and potion crafting, so that's something you guys can add. So weapons, spells, maybe there's like an items box for items, a character art box, a few other things. But again, try to keep your RPG as simple as possible, unless you guys really like complex games. But solo RPG should be able to be taken anywhere and just play a quick game. So once you have your character sheet, like I have here, of course you guys can add so much more, but this is just the basic thing, then you can start designing how your game will be played. So let's get a fresh piece of paper out here. So maybe you want a table generator. Like for each adventure, you have a new table and you roll like 3d6 to see what number you get on the table, and that basically is what you encounter. Or maybe you roll a d20 or a d100 to see what you encounter. It's really up to you. So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to be doing a 6-sided dice. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course 6. And then you're going to want to choose maybe a boss one too. So boss is the last one. So these, so basically whenever you generate a room, you roll d6. Whatever you get depends on what you find. Like maybe you find a skeleton. Maybe you find a trap, treasure, a NPC like trader that you can trade your gold pieces with in the dungeon and get like health supplies. Maybe you find a discovery. And then maybe you find a, I don't know, like a bear in the cave. And then you can create stats for those monsters, and you can draw your dungeons. You can either use graph paper like some RPGs, solo RPGs do it, or you could just draw the rooms at your own style, or you could just have a pre-generated room design and then you roll to see what room design you get. It's really up to you. So maybe this is room 1, and I roll and see what I get. I got a 2, so I encounter a trap. So maybe for the trap, there's like a rule like you have to roll a 15 or higher, and if you fail, you take minus 1d6 damage. So let's look at my character sheet. Let's pretend I have a dexterity of +2 because my class, which was an archer, allowed me to have a +2 on dexterity. So now let's roll the dice. I rolled an 11 plus 2, that's 13. It is below that, so I take 1d6 damage. Let's say it was above, then I would complete that room and move on to the next one. Maybe you have a question on how do you determine how many rooms are in your RPG or are in your dungeon. Maybe before the game you roll to see how many rooms are in that dungeon with a d20 plus maybe a modifier or something. Or you just keep fighting until you have encountered every single one on the list. And then the boss monster is the final one, and they usually have really good loot, but they're also really hard to defeat. Then once you do that, then you have completed the adventure. And then each adventure has a different table generator. For other things like a treasure, you would have like a treasure table where you would like roll to see what you get. It's basically just tables and rolling. That's really what a dungeon crawl solo RPG looks like. As far as narrative, maybe you can do like a table and then you just roll, and then maybe it says a word like a shadowy building with skeletons, and then you would like draw up a scenario and then use your character to fight those monsters. So I hope this video helped you guys. Of course, if you have any questions, please let me know. If you want to watch how to play my solo RPG and then get some ideas, of course you guys can do that. Just make sure you don't steal too much. But if you would like to take some things from this system, like some inspiration, that is completely fine. So I hope this video helped. And if you don't want to create your own system and you just want to build off someone else's, Solo Saga's RPG, I really love it when people join the Discord and make their own fan content for the game, so you can also do that, so feel free to do that too. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next RPG, TCG, or PCG video.